What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about the aspect of having your Venus in an opposition to your partner's Neptune in Synastry. So when it comes to Venus, this is the planet of love, beauty, and things like pleasure, relationships, attraction. And on the other hand, when it comes to Neptune, this is a planet all about dreams, illusions, and also it can be a very mystical planet and also spiritual when it comes to the energy of Neptune, when it comes to this aspect between the Neptune person and the Venus person. So for this reason, having this aspect can be one that does feel rather interesting between the Neptune person and the Venus person. Can be that their relationship is off to what feels like a dreamy start. And for the Venus person, they may actually feel and see the Neptune person in a way that is related to that mystical energy. They could see them as somebody who is perfect for being a romantic partner and as a romantic partner. And essentially, the Venus person here with this aspect can feel like they have met their soulmate in the Neptune person. Because with this aspect, it creates a relationship that feels like something that feels like stepping out of a fairy tale. And between the Neptune person and the Venus person, especially at first, they can have what feels like a lot of feelings of idealized feelings, like they feel like they are stepping into a fantasy world with each other in this relationship. And when it comes to this aspect between the two of them, it can bring about this feeling of intense attraction that they feel towards each other. They can even feel that when it comes to the way they feel about each other, they kind of look at each other as being somewhat of a savior in some way, and someone who can fix or complete them. But with the opposition between these two planets, things can get tricky. Because with this aspect, things can actually feel very incredible, especially from the start between the two of them. And it can feel like having this feeling of creating a fantasy, or this relationship feeling like a fantasy for the both of them, which can feel really good. But the problem with this aspect is that at times they can also be having things like projecting going on between the two of them. The Venus person here and the way they are seeing the Neptune person can be them kind of falling in love with the idea of the Neptune person rather than the reality of them and the real person that the Neptune person is. And for the Neptune person, that may feel very flattering, but it can also feel as though they are being put on a pedestal by the Venus person, and even like the Venus person has a lot of expectations for them. And so essentially, as time goes on with this aspect, that illusion that they have between the two of them can start to kind of fade. The Venus person here can start to notice that the Neptune person is not as perfect as they had initially imagined. And this can bring up a lot of pretty turbulent emotions in their relationship, especially because for the Venus person here, they can go through these turbulent emotions in the sense that one minute they may be feeling over heels for the Neptune person and trust everything about the Neptune person, and they can also another minute feel a bit duped by the Neptune person, like the Neptune person isn't being completely upfront with them, like they're hiding something from them. And so when it comes to this aspect, can actually feel a lot like an emotional roller coaster to experience with someone. And with these turbulent emotions, it can actually feel like having a lot of emotional swings in their relationship with each other. Like for one, the Venus person here may actually feel like they are being betrayed by the Neptune person, or that they aren't right in trusting the Neptune person with everything. But with this aspect, what can actually be happening is that the Venus person might be expecting a lot more than what matches up with reality. And their expectations might just not be matching up with the reality. So this can especially be challenging for the Venus person, because they can experience what feels like one time being in a space of trusting the Neptune person and being in a space where they want to go all in with the Neptune person, and the next minute or the next moment kind of feeling like they can't trust the Neptune person. And the Venus person might start to question everything in this relationship with the Neptune person. which can actually be a bit confusing for the Neptune person. And when it comes to the Neptune person, in this case, they may feel like they don't fully understand what's happening. They may feel that the Venus person has high expectations, and they may feel that they can't always meet them. And when this happens, the Neptune person may actually kind of retreat, or they may withdraw in this relationship with the Venus person. And it's not because they're not to be trusted or they're deceitful. It is more likely because they feel overwhelmed in this relationship with the Venus person, and those high expectations that are coming from a more idealized view of the Neptune person that the Venus person may have and kind of project onto the Neptune person. But it is actually necessary for the Neptune person to be able to be open and transparent with the Venus person in this relationship, and let the Venus person be able to see who they really are, even if it's not as perfect as what the Venus person might have imagined. It is necessary for the Neptune person to be honest with the Venus person. But at the same time, when it comes to the Venus person, it may be helpful for them to be able to face the reality of who the Neptune person is in this relationship and not expect them to be someone that they are not. Because with this aspect between the Venus person and the Neptune person, they're both seeking that deep emotional connection, but may need to be comfortable and being vulnerable with sharing the side of themselves that is messy, that is their real selves, with each other. And having this aspect in their relationship can still mean a pretty magical connection that happens between the two of them. But also another challenge that can be in having this aspect with someone is they may actually be seeking each other's validation and seeking that savior or someone to fix or rescue them in each other. And a big part of this aspect is going to be them both learning to be emotionally independent, and even that neither one of them can save each other, but that they both have to save themselves first. And then they can have a healthier, more fulfilling relationship with this aspect. Because given the dreamy kind of start that they can have in this relationship with each other and the way that they are seeing each other, when it comes to this aspect, it can be one that actually leads to feelings of confusion and disappointment in the long run. But if they both show up in a way that is authentic to who they truly are, it can have a very deep and transformative relationship with each other and kind of find that balance between dreams and reality. And they'll have things like true emotional intimacy, but it'll be built on things like honesty rather than perfection. And the way that the opposition here does that is that with the opposition, it does create this magnetic attraction. They can feel very pulled towards each other and even very drawn towards each other, even with their differences that makes this between the two of them. But with the opposition, this can still also bring what feels like friction and tension in their relationship if they're not handling it in a way that prevents that with care. But with the opposition, they're going to learn to be able to meet each other halfway. When it comes to the Neptune person and what they are most likely bringing to the Venus person in this relationship is that they are helping the Venus person be able to connect with deeper parts of themselves. Things like being able to connect with deeper spiritual or emotional layers, as well as love beyond just the physical or superficial. But also the Venus person can help the Neptune person when it comes to being able to ground their dreams in this relationship with the Venus person. So between the Neptune person and the Venus person, with this opposition between them, they get the opportunity to really balance their energies. Even though, especially if not handled with care, it can feel like this aspect is creating this dynamic between the Neptune person and the Venus person, where there is a constant sort of pull between what the Venus person wants and what the Neptune person can give to the Venus person. And it can kind of create the swing in emotions. But ultimately, it can be a very powerful aspect between two people, especially for them being able to confront their fantasies and their illusions and come to terms with what's real, because it is going to put them in a position to actually be able to be willing to kind of confront being able to be vulnerable with each other and to face the emotional depth that is actually there in their relationship with each other. So when it comes to having an aspect like having an opposition between Venus and Neptune in your synastry with someone, this can bring about challenges friction between two people, but also can be a powerful aspect for opportunities for growth that they can have when they're real with each other. Well, that does it for this video on having your Neptune in a opposition to your partner's Venus and Synastry. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful. And if you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.